Hi, this is Nick Bumgardner, and this is my review of the Nikon 60mm f2.8 Micro Nikkor. This lens was introduced first in 1993, and it went out of production in about 2008. This is a good quality macro lens if you're on a budget. I bought this lens about 4 years ago as a macro lens that I could use when I needed a closer working distance than when I'm using my 105mm Micro Nikkor G series lens. This lens, wide open, is at f2.8, but it is only at f2.8 from infinity to around 10 feet. When you get closer than about 10 feet, it starts stopping down, so it starts at about f3.5, and then when you're at 1:1, the widest aperture available is about f5. The working distance at the 1:1 reproduction ratio on this lens, according to Nikon, is about 3.5 inches, but that is to the front element. In reality, you're working at about 2.5 inches from your object if you're going to be at full reproduction ratio. So that's something to keep in mind, especially if you're working with things that move, or if you're working with stuff that's hot or really cold. Just one of those things to keep in mind. It's not a deal breaker for me, and I use this lens on a pretty regular basis. This lens does have some pretty noticeable fall off wide open, which for the price of this lens these days I don't think is an issue. I can't speak if the newer G version has these same problems, but I do know they're present on the AFD. You'll notice as you extend the lens to its minimum focus distance, the front lens element comes way out of the lens body itself, which is something that I don't find inconvenient at all, but I do think it does push a lot more dust into and out of the lens. Overall, I think this is a great lens, especially for my use case, which is when I want to get a little bit closer to objects than I can with my 105, but that's about it. One of the nice things about this this lens is that it has a working aperture system, so you can physically move the aperture, which is nice and isn't present on the newer G series lenses. You can see the rear element there, which is pretty nice. It has a metal mount and it has a screw drive, so you can't use this on some of the newer consumer lenses. But overall, I think it's a great lens. And if you're considering it, I'd definitely give it a look in person and see if you want to buy the lens. Thanks for watching.